guys, we are continuing my deep dive into the League of Legends lore. Recently we did Ruination. There's a video with all the Ruination videos included, me reacting to it, so if you want to check it out, the link's in the description. I highly recommend it. A fantastic story, the order was great to find it immersive and whatnot. Today we are continuing the cinematic videos for champions, I think. So we are reacting to Ryze and Varus videos. Call of Power, which is a Ryze cinematic, As We Fall, which is a Varus music video, apparently a great one, and he had story behind the Varus Retribution, which is something that explains the other stuff, sort of a behind the scenes video. I also know there are 2 comic books, which I'm going to read on my own after watching these videos. And yeah, next one, let me announce it already. The next video that I'll be recording, and I am particularly excited about this. Oh, it's about Xayah and Rakan, if I'm pronouncing that the correct way. However, on the playlist, I'll be reacting to their voice lines, which are apparently great. I listened to some brief voice lines, like I mentioned before, and I love them. I find it extremely satisfying to listen to these. They are very poetic, sad, and just very touching overall, so I'm happy that I'll be reacting to that. Like I mentioned before, like I announced, I will be doing that as well somewhere along the way. I'm a bit lost within the lore, but I definitely know more and more. Ryze cinematic Call of Power. Oh, and if you want to check out other videos, they're on my playlist. There's an entire playlist. I love making these. And there's also Arcane essays that I have been working on. Also, major shout out to my patrons who helped me out plenty. So I do know that Ryze is some sort of a sorcerer who's looking for runes or some magical artifacts. I know that he had some sort of a master. I read about that briefly. I think that he's a good guy trying to find the runes so they don't end up in the wrong hands, so people wouldn't really know how to use them properly, and I guess he knows.
There is a great power in this world.
I love narrators.
Ancient and forgotten.
Runes. Are we in Ionia?
It transformed fields of bare stone into wonders of life.
Are these the magical... Whoa, that's a big tree.
It carved mountains.
He looks so
drained
realistic.
oceans, and burned skies.
Are these magical trees in Ionia?
It never faded.
Oh, he looks so nice.
Stronger.
Oh, I like him already. Even though I think I met him before.
Hidden away, waiting to be found. The stronger it grows, the louder it calls.
Oh my god, are these roots? Like magical roots.
Others seek to claim this power for strength, balance, control.
I can't, like, he really looks so realistic.
I was weak then. Naive. So I vowed. Never again.
Oh! Oh shit! What is that? my dude. Oh. Okay. Showing off a bit of Yara.
The call of power.
Oh, so it's influencing them, I guess. He's just like... Lovely lights.
Many say I hold too much power. Others say I can't be trusted.
Oh.
Maybe they're right. But the only power I truly have is the strength to let it go.
Oh. That's so well said. Wow, man. Oh my god, I love him. He has that wise vibe that I appreciate in fantasy story, fantasy worlds, you know, like Gandalf or like Dumbledore or what was that lion's name in Narnia? Aslan. Also, he's kind of gloomy. I can't really imagine him smiling. He's just like, I guess he's holding a lot of power as the title of that video. That's because he knows how to handle these runes. That reminds me of Gandalf in Lord of the Rings when he couldn't really carry the ring because he knew that maybe he'd be tempted to use it. Maybe he'd want to use it for the right reasons, but he'd end up causing some harm. Yeah, that's sort of wisdom, to know how to handle power. That's a lovely metaphor, and for life as well. So I love that video. I like that he's very wise and smart. I like the way he was moving. Did they actually hire some sort of a mock-up actor for that? Because he was moving in such a realistic way. Honestly, I could imagine him standing in my room, although that would be very odd. Anyway, next one I'm pretty excited about, As We Fall, which is a Varus music video. Wait, Varus, is he the one that has been like singing some anarchist songs or something? I've been preparing for 2 videos separately. I mean simultaneously, not separately. I'm a bit confused when it comes to all these champions, but I guess he does sing anyway. Whatever, I don't know. As We Fall. Oh my god, will this be a metal song like Iron Maiden or something? Oh no. Oh! Your heart is starting to slow. May the water be safe. Oh, he's dying. Why am I smiling? Oh! Oh! What happened? beautiful. Oh. Whoa! No! What? I don't understand what happened. Why were there as many dudes? Oh, I know him. That's him, right? That's the main dude that the video's about, right? Why, this is so suitable for, oh. Thank you. But that's so suitable for Pride Month. But I didn't know anything about that romance. Yeah, I kind of knew that that video would be somewhat confusing. Well, maybe a bit more confusing than the others that are already a bit confusing to me. But that's why we have the story behind the Varus Retribution video, which I think explains part of that story. So that's great. That's sort of like Making of Annie when they also explain that. I love these. This is great because they're very talented when it comes to all these behind the scenes videos. You know, like bridging the rift and whatnot. There's a story called that way, comic book.
We knew that we were going to make another music video. And at the time, we'd only released 3. There was Get Jinxed, The Curse of the Sad Mummy, and Warriors. And so when we set out to do the 4th one, we wanted to somehow raise the bar, do something different.
League has always been a game that doesn't have a lot of time for story. You know, we can't just pause the game for like a cutscene or like a really long monologue or dialogue between a couple characters. And so story in and around League needs to be presented in creative ways.
We thought it'd be really interesting to try and tell a longer story. Could we start a story in one medium and go into another one and then go into a 3rd one maybe, and actually get players to care enough to click through each time to see what happens in the next chapter.
Which in our head sounds awesome. We're just like, oh, this is gonna be so cool. Imagine flipping a comic book, you know, you get to a cliffhanger of some sort and then you're just like, press play.
Oh, that one, that's the one I want to read.
A little before, and he came to me and showed me the script, some ideas that they had for what they were going for emotionally with the story, and kind of seeing what we could do musically with it.
The sequence when Varus actually gets made into Varus, like he goes from 3 separate entities to one entity, could be a really cool music video.
That seemed like an obvious point in the story where we could tell the story more abstractly, where we could go into realms of visual that we couldn't necessarily do as effectively in a comic.
He's
We're in a
Scottish.
fantasy world. Let's use those fantasy elements.
love
We can
that.
do anything. Like, what's the craziest stuff we can do and have it make sense in a story?
I think it was Tyler who just said, he's like, it's a psychedelic trip. He's just like, just think colors and swirls and whirlwinds. And I was like, yeah, that actually makes sense. How do you explain that? You use the creative liberties of a music video.
I knew when we started the project that this was like an emotional tragedy at its heart, but like when you think about the mechanics of it, it could very easily have turned into some sort of like body horror, like they're just getting their flesh ripped apart. And so we really looked at like, okay, how can we make this like a more of a proper tragedy? And it started with this Darken would need to break them down to their essence, right? Like to what was going on inside them and then piece it back together in his new thing. And it wasn't so much about just like ripping their flesh apart. It was more about like breaking them down piece by piece, physically, emotionally, and mentally. That's where we got to like, you know, the heads cracking open and you can see who these characters really are. Though they're in the middle of this tragic situation, like their connection that they have with each other gives them a unique opportunity to really see.
Oh, that's what it was.
Literally see what's going on inside this person's head that they're so close to in their most tragic and desperate moment.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
It was almost like halfway between writing a song and kind of scoring a movie. And trying to find the right balance between that was kind of a really cool challenge.
With Music Video 4, we didn't have to choose Varus. We realized there were this group of champions who didn't really fit in the modern League of Legends lore. We thought, it might be cool to try and use this as an opportunity to update Varus and bring him into the now.
Varus was a character whose kind of arc went pretty linear. You know, this thing happened, that thing happened, now I will avenge the first thing that happened. Whereas we wanted to try and see if we could add some more nuance to the backstory of Varus, a layer of depth to who he was beforehand, and something more to afterwards.
The thing is, when you look at Varus,
so
like, there's one obvious story to tell, right? And that's the bow.
Bow? I don't know about the bow. I mean, I do know that he's an archer, but...
McNeil pitched the idea of him being one of the 5 Darkin, that we got really excited.
He realized, he's like, we're not telling a Void story, this is a Darkin story.
What if the Darkin are the weapons, and what if the bow is one of the weapons?
As soon as we started talking about Varus as one of the Darkin, it all sort of clicked.
We have this well, this pit with this demon inside from an ancient race that's looking for a new body. He's trapped inside a bow at the bottom of this well. Fast forward a millennia or so, and you've got him breaking down the bonds of his prison and becoming more powerful and eventually like trying to get out. So these magical elements have kind of bled into each other and they're at war in this well, and then you throw in 2 humans that have their own story going on, and I mean, you see what you get, right?
The guy who jumps in the pit is not the same guy who emerges from it.
In order for this to make sense, it had to be driven by the strongest kind of emotions that we can imagine. A romantic love, in this case. Varus is basically created because Val is unwilling to live without Kai.
They'd met across a crowded battlefield, you know, in the midst of slaying some terrible beast, and that had forged a union between them and a shared experience that had then grown into the love that they share as Heartlights.
They're so close that they understand each other in every facet of their lives. Like, that's why they're partners. They understand all the battles, all the trials, and they never want to be separated from each other for even a minute.
Individually, either one of them would probably have been overwhelmed by the Darkin presence, but together they were stronger. Ultimately, that bond, that love between the two of them is what allows them to hold on to themselves in the face of its overwhelming power. Varus has many, many stories that we can tell, and this comic and music video exploration has just opened the doors to a ton more stories.
What happens when all 5 Darkin come together? Will Val and Kai be able to quell the hatred within them?
We want to tell, you know, bigger stories, better stories, bolder stories.
I really just hope that people watch Varus, they read through the entire story, and they feel like he's suddenly a much realer character.
Oh, that's lovely. Wait, but that only explained it partially for me. I think I need to check out... I think I'm done with the videos, right? Yeah, I need to check the comic book so I kind of understand it better. Okay, so I read the comic books. I read some of their brief story just now to sort of understand it a bit more, as it was confusing, but I get what they're trying to do. They connected the comic books to the video, right? So there's a comic book, then you're supposed to watch the As We Fall, sort of, because it continues the story, and then you have what happens afterwards, I think. That's fantastic that they're jumping between like different mediums, but also, damn, that story is kind of dark. I feel so sorry for Valmor and Kai. As I get it, they were sort of connected together into that essence that carries Varus's bow, and they are trying to stop him, or else he would be a ruthless assassin, but they're good, right? Man, is there like a way to get them out? I know one of them died, technically, but like it would be fantastic if they could be saved in some sort of a cinematic. I know death is death, but maybe, I don't know, maybe Heimerdinger could do it. Wait, I think I was supposed to catch an Arcane reference in the Ryze video. I don't think I did. Okay, that was a bit confusing, but end of the day I understood it. It's confusing because they made like comic books, they made videos, they made behind the scenes videos, and the music video was confusing as so too. But I think I get it now. However, I wouldn't mind any extra explanation. In the comments, as always, I sort of rely on you guys, so you explained it a bit more, and it's always so cool to like find out more about it. So, as I said before, next video, Xayah and Arcane and their voice lines. First time I'll be reacting to voice lines, so yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Do stick around, and thank you so much for watching. Stay safe. This was Ola from Stop Me Oceano. Bye.